Hello everybody and welcome back to another video, and in today's video we are looking at What If Civilization Started Over, Season 2, Episode 9. Now today won't be as big as the last one where we saw all of the Mediterranean, or most of it at least, being discovered, but this one will still be a fairly big video, so let's sit in. Now starting ourselves off, we're probably going to want to start off up here, because there has been some stuff going on with Season 2 up here. These guys split off from these guys who used to be in Japan, and then before that over here in Korea. But they split off up into here eventually after getting kicked out numerous times, and no one knows about these guys. So they will be able to flourish, and eventually more, they're going to get bigger, of course. I mean, it's probably been a while, actually, yeah. Probably been about 2 episodes since they have expanded. Or, I guess, lost territory. And then expanded up to here. But they're not going to go too far. Staying fairly close to their new home. Taking all this land right here. And then, of course, they're going to be exploring even more. These two know about each other, of course, but they're not really friendly. But meanwhile, the Peach Team is going to be fighting to get back down south, because both of these two don't really have any population at all. Maybe like, the southern one down here, these guys have probably about, I want to say about maybe like 5,000. Because, I mean, they still have a good population, but I mean, like, that's still, for these guys, it's not very good. But, the northern one up here probably has around 1,000, and the southern one probably has about 10,000, I'm gonna say. Which seems fairly right. But there we go. They expand a little bit. That'll be all for them. But, moving on down south, the Lime Team and the Green Team will be expanding. But before we get to that, we have to look at them exploring some more, because of course, they're gonna be doing that. And the Lime Team is going to be moving up north along here. Not very much. They will go up there a little bit, but they're mainly exploring inward here, especially in the southern areas where the Green Team is exploring. And the Green Team at this point has been exploring a lot, probably making their way into this area right here, which is quite a bit away. And the world is slowly starting to become a lot bigger. I mean, just look at it so far. But we're going to see some very important stuff, in this video, the most important thing for this video soon. So stay tuned. But yeah, they're gonna explore to about here. And so here we go. The Green Team takes these little 2 pieces of land, and the Lime Team will take these 2. But there is a new country here, which is gonna be this color. I know it kind of matches up, but I didn't want to stray too far away from the colors. And besides, the only other color of this we have is the Mediterranean country. So I thought it'd be okay, but if this hurts your eyes or something, let me know. I can fix that. But there we go. These guys' story is not really important. They're really, yeah, that's about it. That's about all they have. But in reality, they came from the Green Team. Basically, people who were in this area who didn't really want to revolt, but they didn't want to live under the Green Team, so they just moved up here and they made their own country. So, you know, that worked out for them. But, moving on over to this little part right here, because they're, really close to the, they're actually, yeah, really close to the sea over here, the Yellow Sea, I'm pretty sure. So, these guys are going to be expanding as well. Now, I do not think that is the right color. Okay, that's better. There's the border. Oh, so they're going to be taking that much land. And the Red Team up here will be taking a little bit of land, because they still want to be able to connect up to the outside here. So it does look kind of weird, but, you know, they're there now. But the Green Team is honestly starting to become one of the strongest countries right now. But, I think the strongest, if we look up to the rankings here, yeah, is the Vietnamese, who are going to be doing something later this episode. So, yeah. But right now we see these Chinese people taking some land, and we see this orange team right here take some land. Now I'm pretty sure these guys don't have any relation to the brown team down there, but something big is going to be happening with them, which we shall be talking about right now. And so basically what's happening here is the remnants of the orange team are kind of rising up. They want their own country back. The government is anti-orange team. They're very anti-orange team. I believe, yeah, they were centered down there. But yeah, they're very anti-orange team. So this leads to a civil war. Here we have the loyalists and the disloyalists, the loyalists, I don't know, the unloyalists to the government. So the orange team here is obviously going to be the orange team. They're supporting the old orange team government, who honestly I don't know why you'd want to support that, but maybe they don't, I don't really know. They just want to have their name as, they kind of just want their name as the original name of the country, instead of just like a whole new government, whole new identity. Because the government does not want to picture themselves with the original orange team at all. So, starting off here, the brown team is going to be advancing toward the southern group down here. Well, more the northern group first, where they're going to start getting toward the major city right here. But then they're going to focus down on the southern group, who won't put up that much of a fight because they are very weak down here in the south. But the loyalists, their identity down here is stronger than up here, but they don't have the weapons as the north does, as they've been kind of on their own for a little bit. But they're going to start an offensive over here into this side over here. But this is where this city is captured, and some troops are moved out of this area down south, which leads to, of course, a pushback up here after a bit, to where we get to the front lines looking like this. So they look fairly even. This is until the Vietnamese get involved. The Vietnamese actually are going to do is they're actually going to support the brown team by sending their troops into the southern group down here, and yeah, they're pretty much wiped out. The brown team will be able to send their forces back in a little bit though. But up north, their forces will also be sent into this area. But they're doing this more as a third party than anything helping the brown team. But they will sign an agreement with the brown team stating that they're going to take some land from the peace treaty if it eventually happens. But these guys are going to have to join the they're going to have to join the they're going to have to join their alliance, or an alliance they've been making here shortly, which you'll see another member is going to join this one as well. But meanwhile, the group up here is going to keep going in, and eventually they're going to make it up to the major city over here, and they're going to go all around it, just like this. They're going to go all over the place, taking out major settlements, until eventually they will surrender over, leading to the peace treaty. To that, we're going to have to add provinces to these guys. So we'll just say officially that the Vietnamese team adapts provinces as well as the brown team, so that they can actually do this peace treaty, right? And okay, something I realize now too is right here is going to have to be fixed. Now the sign team we're also going to talk about later in the episode. There's going to be a very important discussion with them. But back over to the Vietnamese. Okay, here we go. So first of all, the Vietnamese team will get this little piece of land right here, and this big one down here. Now this one is a lot more important, and this does make the loyalist some of the loyalist population mad. But overall, the Vietnamese team is going to help them now. So they're going to help them recover and all that stuff. And I would even say, no, I forgot to do these guys. But that might have been a little bit too generous to the blue team. So I think we're going to split that one in half. And get that piece back. So that looks a little bit more fair. But now, I forgot to draw the provinces for the Vietnamese team, so I'll be right back. Here we are. I also updated all the provinces with all the new people who get provinces. So, I think most of these are right. Just have to fix that one. Okay, maybe there's a bit more. That should fix it there. But those are all the provinces that are updated. There's still a lot of countries that don't have provinces, so yeah, on a global scale. Probably about half the country is new. Or at least half the territory does, at least. But now we gotta move on down to the Mediterranean. More so, the Mediterranean and the Middle East, as first thing we're talking about is the eradication of said Armenia. Because yeah, they're not putting up a fight. And they're going to be fully annexed into the empire of the Azerbaijani Empire, who is actually doing really good at this point. They're really stable. They have a pretty good economy for a Middle Eastern / Mediterranean country at this time. Probably second, or I guess not for these two, because these two are stable and they're pretty modernized. But for everywhere else, they're probably the best. But this Libyan country right here is going to be expanding a little bit to here and to here. Meanwhile, the red team is going to be expanding their colony over here, as well as their one over here. And of course, the explorers they're going to be exploring even more land. But remember, there isn't a problem with down here. This isn't Sahara. This is just forest, because the Sahara is gone. But yeah, they're going to be exploring into all these other areas. And I did update the mountain map a little bit ago, so I added a bit more mountains. There were just some that weren't here that I did add. But yeah. Looking back at the red team, they're going to be doing even more expanding. I mean, this by now you gotta realize this definitely is not it. It's going to be more. These guys love to explore, and they love conquering unknown territory even more as they wrap around down here in Africa. And going into Sardinia, they're going to take even more. But this Green France country is going to be, or I guess Italian country is going to be taking some land up at the top here. So this angers the Italians. So they're going to march up where the green team is to get a land border with them, as well as completing more of the Italian peninsula. I guess this is the only red team now, because you know, the real red team's gone. But yeah, these guys are going to be doing very good. They're going to be expanding along the Adriatic even more. And Albania down here will be as well. Meeting up with the red team, who at this point is feeling very powerful. Comparable to Greece, who right now is expanding into the Istanbul area of Turkey, or toward that direction, as well as up in these northern parts of Thrace, going up into Bulgaria. Looking about like this, the country right here will be expanding down south and up north as well. The Mediterranean country is they're actually really strong. Their economy is really good. The only thing they're missing is territory. So they're going to do the rest of that, and they're going to march up to the border of these guys, and even up to this lake right here. And they're going to do one main thing here, and that is they're going to demand land from these guys over here. I don't know what we call these. Anatolia, I think is what I call them, which is very fitting. But you know, we can go ahead and call them that. But their tickets are getting very high. But meanwhile, over here, the green team is going to be moving up north towards this area, trying to get a standpoint on the red team. The border's probably looking like that. Trying to be able to protect their capital city, which is looking on this island right here, which honestly isn't very defendable. So, yeah. The yellow team right here is going to be moving down south, but yeah, they're going to hit the Pyrenees. Yeah, they're going to hit the Pyrenees right around here. And on this map, I haven't shown that they are basically fully mountainous country, and they barely have any good spots. This is like the first mountain country that we have ever seen. So it's very strange, but they will take just a little bit more land right there. Right here, actually. And that'll do that. But now we have even more countries forming. This one is in fact down in Spain, as after they crossed the Pyrenees, they kept going south this way, reaching the point over here. This is like this might be Valencia, I think, or I could be completely wrong. Maybe that's more down south, but it's in the direction. But they will discover all these islands actually. I mean, very insane. But a whole new country is going to pop up right here. Right way, hopefully. I realize it's the same color as these guys. So you know what? Let's go with it. These guys will colonize all the way over here. So I guess the Mediterranean country guys are just colonizers. But this is over here. Now we're going to see some colonization in the old world. It's actually by the Vietnamese team, as they're going to be traveling with their boats up. They're going to find this little piece of islands that I don't even think should exist. I think those are like Chinese islands that they created so they can have more land down here. But yeah, they're going to be venturing up toward this area, going this way, and eventually they're going to stumble upon Taiwan. This is where they actually declare war on Taiwan. It means gaining a puppet, which, you know, is there for a reason, I guess. But we're not really a puppet, but just land. So they're going to move up into this area right here. They're going to make a deal with them saying, look, we're not even going to take the full province. We're going to take that much, and we will shift the province borders for you to make it look like this, if you let us keep our land. And they're like, well, we don't really have a choice, do we? Yeah, they don't have a choice. So there we go. The Vietnamese team has acquired even more land now, and yeah, they are very, very strong. But as soon as this happens, these guys are kind of fearing, because anybody can really take them over, because they're really weak. So they sign a deal with the yellow team to reunite with them. But Taiwan doesn't fully agree, and it's a whole thing. So basically, most of the yellow team government doesn't really recognize that they're part of the same thing, but the purple team does. So they will keep them on the map as a separate entity, but they are sort of functioning as one. But the yellow team, because this is angering the red team up here, so they're like, we want to unite with them, not you guys. So that's the whole reason behind it. But for now, that part won't be done, and we need to move on to more Middle Eastern expansion. And the first of it comes over here in the areas of the mountains, and they're finally getting into this area. And the closer areas to the country, like probably about, okay, maybe not, probably about that much land was already occupied by settlers. So they just move in and they conquer all of it. So that kind of just does that for them. But they're going to take the Dubai, I guess, is what I called it. The UAE is going to take that little piece of land over there. And they're going to resolve that border right there, which is, I didn't like it, so it's gone. But Mesopotamia is going to be expanding greatly now as they reach down across the Red Sea. And they're even going to make an effort to go down the river here that is called the Nile. I realized it sounded like denial, but it's the Nile. So I hope that wasn't confusing. But yeah, they're also going to go into the Red Sea. So these guys are very powerful. But yeah, now, like I said, tensions have been heating up a lot. And here is where we see all the tensions blowing over. The Mediterranean country will attack Anatolia. The yellow team will attack the purple team here, so they don't have to annex them, which just leads to a lot of stuff, like, the red team ends up fighting them because of this, for some reason. I don't know. I couldn't. That matches oddly. And even the Vietnamese team is going to be involved in this. Speaking of which, we're going to get to shortly. But the next thing is actually the red team, the dark red team right here. These guys are going to be invaded by the orange team here because of a dispute over this land right here. There's even more than this, but this is just where they're sending their forces in. And the Vietnamese team will create the Circle Alliance, which leads to the brown team, of course, joining it. And they're kind of puppet state right here, over here, in the old yellow team, which leads to a massive war between the Circle Alliance and all these other powers here. So first we're going to look at the other wars. The Anatolia one is going to go quite well for the Mediterranean. They're going to have several expeditions into the countryside, especially under the south, as they're going to conquer some of these islands and stuff, moving their way up the coast. There are no major cities here besides the capital, so they're just going to march themselves up to it and fortify their own major city that's right here. This is to where the citizens are going to rise up and fight back. Not of the Mediterranean country, but of these guys here. And they're going to fight back. I mean, okay. But in the grand scheme of things, it's not really working. Their capital, which we're going to move down to the major city layer, is going to be taken fully. And yeah, they're going to go all over this place, which pretty much leads to the treaty. Which will look like this, where these islands down here are going to also be taken by these guys. And this land here will be taken back by these guys. So there we go. Nothing too major. But now, moving on to the green team and red team war. The red team is way stronger than the orange team. And I mean way stronger. By their whole other level. The orange team is the biggest country with the weakest military. Like, if there's like a ratio for that. But they're going to fight back to where the orange team will of course move their troops, and then the front lines will eagle out somewhere around here. But the troops up here are unmerciful as they push it back to like this. And they'll move up to this land up here, leading to massive casualties of all of 5 people who live there. So yeah. But there we go. And by this point, it's not looking very good for the orange team. They're going to move their main government down to this area. And this is still the capital, which kind of just leads to a collapse of their front line because they kind of abandoned it. They invaded everything but like the main core country, which will lead to some different pushbacks like this, which this is around the main country. But now there are leaks that are pouring through, and yeah, they're kind of just walking through at this point because the military is shattered. So they're just going after the major settlements once again. And eventually they'll get to the capital. And they will, of course, take it, leading to one of the ugliest wars ever, indeed. And the peace treaty looking exactly like this, where this right there will become part of the red team, and up there will become another part of that team. Leading to the orange team looking something like this, the red team will get access to expansion. And from what they used to be, they are really strong compared to what they used to be when the red team was at its peak. But now we need to look at this gigantic war over here. Things happening at the very start of the war is the Lavender team sending their troops through. And then the Vietnamese taking over all of Taiwan. So they're really going to refrain from the war. They're going to help the Lavenders in here. But these guys, the yellow team up here is going to be worried about their own territory for the most part, trying to fight back all these nations because they're fighting 4 nations at once. But the blue 5 actually, because of the brown teams here. But yeah, the red team is going to link up with the purple team here, who will meet out with them as well. So now there's a front line here. The yellow team is going to act fast, moving through this territory. Better turn major cities on. Taking that major city and getting to the capital here. So the capital is not doing too well. So they're gonna move all the forces under occupation, or all the occupations out under the red team control, so that they can protect the mainland. Which they do okay. I mean, they're still kind of right there. We're gonna downgrade all the cities so that we can see this easier. But yeah, they're still right on the edge of the city. And they're even moving up to this major city and capturing that one as well. Showing that the L team, although collapsed, is still fairly strong. But the Lavender team here is no joke. These two are no joke. Eventually, the red team is going to be like, yeah, we're out of here. And then, by the point that happens, the yellow team has captured the city, and they all surrender. So now, it's just the yellow team versus these two. And after another major city is taken, and a lot of the countryside up here is taken, they will agree to the treaty. And it's called the Treaty of the White River because, I don't know, they named this river right here the White River, and it takes place in this major city right here, which is not the capital for some reason, but you know, it is a very important city to these guys. But yeah, I forgot to do the peace treaty, so let's get to that. Let's get that done. So here's the outcome of the war. Starting off, the Lavender team down here is going to get 2 provinces like that, and the yellow team will have to pay a lot of reparations. The red team will get that much land, and the yellow team itself will actually be getting land. I mean, all this area over here, and that right there. So, yeah, they have all that. Then this country will be allowed to exist again. And, yeah, I think, there we go. There's the borders. Yeah, we just need to get their original colors back. Yeah, this country has basically lost everything. However, down here on Taiwan, they will be keeping control over Taiwan. But they, of course, are going to have to pay a lot of money to the Vietnamese themselves as well. With the Vietnamese gaining even more control over the island. Not necessarily, like, they're allowing the purple team to own it, but it's sort of like a condominium, where they both own it at the same time. So that's how the North kind of operates. I don't know how to represent that, so just take that note. But yeah, that'll do it for today's episode. Now, there is one main thing we have talked about that really happens in every video that hasn't happened here. And that is the Cyan team expansion. As they're going on, they're kind of big empire right now. But don't worry, because we are getting there, because the video is not over yet. Because they explore all of Papua New Guinea and find Australia, so this is really big. Like, they find all, like, Australia. So, like, they realize this is like a continent. It's big. They realize it's big. And now, for the final treaty, I guess, in the video, they're going to be taking a ton of land. Here we go. So, they're gonna, besides that brush down, they're gonna take all this land over here. This island here, for some reason, and this piece of Australia, as well as all this part of Papua New Guinea, and those islands. So yeah, they are very big now. probably the biggest country here. Definitely, actually, that's definitely a fact, because even their Borneo piece, with like some additional territory, is as big as some of these other bigger countries like Vietnam and the Green Tea, which are definitely the other biggest countries here. So yeah, without doubt, these guys are the biggest. And the ranking second, or as third actually, is probably going up to second. We're gonna have to see more from that in the next video. So if you guys enjoyed this video, show your support, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.